And we're back. Hold on a sec. Just want to show y'all that it has gotten more bloody. It's kind of pink, I will say, but still, nonetheless, it does the trick if you're doing a vampire-inspired kind of evening for Halloween. Then this goes perfect, and it's really cute. Five and below, $2. I think I paid for. Not bad, not bad. Now getting back to the review. So yeah, Michael Keaton was not their first choice from the production house, which I thought was odd. Um, and I think even he was intimidated or just felt that the script was kind of all over the place. But um, I think, with some more convincing from Tim Burton, they were able to approach the role through a different perspective, fresh new eyes, and that's the glory that you see in the movie Beetlejuice. And then plus I think they were able to tame down the screenplay. I think the original screenplay was a little more outrageous, and um, Beetlejuice was a little more menacing in the sense that he was more of like a notorious killer, basically. We get hints of him perhaps trying to kill the Deets, but not really succeeding. And also the way it's even written, like everything was just so like nuanced and trying to be different and stand out because it's pronounced Beetlejuice, but it looks like Beetlegeist or something. I think that was like a run-on joke in the movie. And we had a number of other famous actors who were really known for that time and have been actors of yesteryear. Robert Goulet, I forget the other actress, hold on. Yeah, Sylvia Sidney, who played Juno. She was like, kind of like the Matlin's lawyer, advocating lawyer of this is what you do when you pass away. And they had the famous recently deceased book. And which she passed away, obviously. I mean, this was like in the 90s and she was already kind of up there, but she had been a very famous actress from the 20s and like the era of vaudeville. um, but nonetheless, I think Michael Keaton, and I love Michael Keaton. I mean, I remember him from like Gun Ho, Mr. Mom, before he was the Michael Keaton that would go on to do Batman. And honestly, to be 100% honest, Batman, and I've loved what it's evolved into, don't get me wrong, and the plethora of other actors that came after him. But for me, Batman will always be Michael Keaton, which I'm kind of sad in the sense that he came close, or he did reprise his role, which now ever since I saw this red carpet moment with Bette Midler, is like, do you say reprieve because it's supposed to be like a French film. She corrected like a journalist recently with the Hocus Pocus 2 premiere. She says reprieve, but yeah, he didn't reprise his role. I mean, he did reprise his role as the original Batman for the impending and now unfortunately shelved Batgirl. And it's like, it had so much potential. And our Batgirl was Afro Latina, which I was here for, absolutely. And then, he was going to come back. And, again, I know he's aged, but with CGI, for heaven's sake, Martin Scorsese did the whole, like, Irishman, and they had to like CGI a number of the actors, Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci and even Al Pacino, because hey, life happens, you age, and so, but you still want the essence of the actors, so they have finagled and finessed through CGI and editing to do the best they can, and it's still come off as really cool. So nonetheless, I wonder now what that would have looked like, because I'm so enamored with Michael Keaton's acting and have been for years. I remember when Batman first came out, the first official Tim Burton movie, and how phenomenal it was. And This is when people still collected things. I remember that they had like showcase collector, like almost like baseball cards, but scenes of the film, and you would get a bubble gum or whatever. But I remember, and I think there was like a contest at the time, and if you had two matching scenes, you'd win something. But unfortunately, they were all kind of thrown out because you grow up. But I wish I still have them, and you can get them in like any local bodega or any kind of like local shop. But I would just remember that being his time, because he always stood out. He always had that energy, and he pumps that energy very much into this character of Beetlejuice. I mean, even down to the whole like aesthetic and makeup and the mold and everything, and the big really large menacing teeth and yellowish teeth. And I think again it's just a staple, a time capsule of that time. And and it's become the phenomenon, the Halloween staple that it is today. Because just like Hocus Pocus, and again I will also link it somewhere here or in the description box, it's just now like how we have our favorite holiday movies in terms of Christmas. We have our staples for Halloween. The go-tos, the Draculas, and the boogeyman of Michael Myers. But we also have like these kind of friendly like films, although it was the 90s. So I think again 90s generation of teens and you know young adults had a different kind of flair than necessarily now. Things that flew and just had like more of a comedy edge is not necessarily something that you would see now, which is a little unfortunate, because I feel like that's a type of entertainment that has kind of lost itself. Again, good and bad, you can outweigh it. Yes, certain things shouldn't have probably been acceptable, but other things were kind of hokey and fun. And just even down to like the experimental CGIs that you see in the film, because there are moments and elements where you see like these huge worms, earthworms or whatever. I don't know. They're monstrous. They're huge. You could tell it's kind of claymation and whatnot. Also, even when Beetlejuice just like kind of loses it and becomes this like monstrous kind of looking snake to intimidate the Deets into moving out. They had said that originally they wanted it was a snake, but it didn't kind of like make sense to the story, so they just kind of put on top of the already slithering body, Michael Keaton's kind of more monstrous face with like larger teeth and that very slithering tongue. And then of course, so our couple discovers Beetlejuice in an ad and are discouraged by Juno. They're advocating, Lord, don't use him. He's kind of a batshit crazy kind of person. But nonetheless, whatever they're doing isn't working. The bed sheets, they're not intimidating anybody. These people are very in the art scene, and so they kind of like are over it. And they do try. There is that moment where we have that Deo scene, and it is kind of gory, but it's to no avail, because if anything, they're more enamored with the ghosts and are demanding to see the ghosts. And they're like, look, we'll live with you. We'll try to live with you, while you're in the house, but just don't change things or whatever. And they're like not having it. If anything, they want to kind of turn the ghosts into entertainment. And Lydia kind of feels bad for them. Then we slowly discover that Lydia had a mom, but she lost her, perhaps even because maybe she may have died young, her mom. And so she's stuck with this situation with her stepmother, who she doesn't necessarily get along with. Very 90s, very emo. There was a lot of that going on, so, and hence the makeup, because I wanted to kind of drown color, because that's what you see. And plus she has more of a spiky kind of bouffant going on, which I have another wig for, but I kind of mess it up, but I added to it to kind of give it a Ronette vibe to it. So but I went with this. It's fine. And she gets along with the Matlins pretty decently, to the point where I think they almost embrace her like their own child, because that's what they always wanted, was a family. Um, so in trying to really just intimidate them and leave, they do depend on Beetlejuice. You can see him menacing them, but to the point where it's harmful. And towards the end, there's like this whole spell, because again, the the Deeds invite their art world scene, and they have this one uh, flamboyant friend that's Otto, and played by Glenn Shaddix. He's phenomenal. And then at the same time, like at this like last dinner before like we see this whole red getup, he does like they do a seance, and he performs a spell that he really has no business saying, to the point where we almost lose our coupling of the Matlins. They're not only just dead, but they're crumbling. They become like, it's almost like they're transitioning into dust, and then they're just like non-existent. And it's kind of hard for it to stop. So for it to stop the spell, Lydia is forced to say Beetlejuice, and she conjures him. And then their worst fears come to life in that dinner table, Otto wearing polyester, which was the funniest thing. But then as he completes his, ghostly threats, he wants to marry her, and is like, I'll help you if you give me what I want. And it's almost like as if he marries her, he's able to stay on Earth. And though they try to save the three Beetlejuices so he'll disappear or go back to where he came from, but he does everything in his power to kind of stop them. Gina Davis's character, he puts like this it almost looks like a buckle of metal on her mouth. But they are able to overcome him. They send him back to hell. And it's just funny because the ending scene is, in hell, as he's waiting to speak to his advocating lawyer. And because he's such a cheat, he switches numbers, because everybody has to take like a number. You know how like when you're at the butcher shop, they give you like a ticket and whatever. He's like 4 million blah 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 number, and he snatches a voodoo priest his number, which was number 2, and he pays just like the other one that was sitting next to him, and his head starts to shrink. And he's like, come on, man. So it has a lot of funny elements. It's such a kooky film. And you can see, I love studying those films because it kind of gives you an idea of where the director's capabilities were at the time and how they evolved. And also the actors themselves too, like their humble beginnings, if you can say, because this was like, I don't know if it did really well at the box office when it first came out, but it did pop off. Like, it did pop off because it turned into a cartoon, into a game, a video game, all types of stuff. I remember buying collectibles at Burger King. It was a phenomenon for that time. So, Lydia's happy with the Matlins, and I think they're able to live in the same space. I think the parents learn to respect the ghosts, the coupling in the in the attic. And we have like a really nice, a happy ending. But I think there's rumors that there might be a part 2, which I'm not 100% sure. Don't hold me to that. But if so, it would be amazing to see these characters come back, if they CGI them or whatnot. But it's just, But this is perfect timing, and if you're looking for ideas for Halloween, again, you can add embellishments. I love this tool. Gives you that very, veil vibe, and I love that it's red. It's not your traditional white. And you can do all these fun things in the background if you're having movie night. If you're having just a Halloween costume, these are great ideas, and it's a great movie, and it's a great watch, And certain elements, I think I recommend it for like a little older audience because of the risque nature in certain scenes. Again, nothing too crazy, but I would say it's more of like a teenage, young adult film. So with that, y'all, stay tuned. I'm going to be reviewing a few more of the things. Also, there's a new show that I need to catch up on by Guillermo del Toro that just dropped, I think, like a week ago. And I'm not sure how they're releasing it, weekly or I think. But it's called Cabinet of Curiosities. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be reviewing that soon. I also have to catch up on Atlanta. And there's a few more Tim Burton movies that I will be reviewing, so be on the lookout for that, y'all. And until next time, let's play this out, y'all. But let me know what you like, what you didn't like. You know, do you like the decor? Is it giving you ideas? Drop us a comment down below. And also, don't